All right, aircraft engine assembler interviews. We're diving into that today. Got our RoleCatcher resources right here, and let me tell you, they've got it all laid out. Interview questions, career advice, the works, ready to break it down.
Absolutely. Let's equip you with the know-how to really shine in that interview.
Because it's not just about putting the pieces together, right?
Yeah.
This career guide makes it clear you're almost like an engine whisperer.
You got it. It's a role where precision and technical expertise are key. We're talking about the safety and performance of an entire aircraft, after all.
No pressure, right? Okay, let's get into these interview questions. First up, and this one's a classic, can you tell us about your experience with aircraft engine assembly? Sounds simple enough, but I'm betting there's more to it than meets the eye.
You're right. It's about reading between the lines. They're looking for proof. Proof you understand the engine components inside and out, the assembly process itself, and of course, that dedication to quality control. This is where you get to let your passion shine through, your expertise. Think back to specific projects, maybe a training program you nailed, or even the different types of engines you've worked on. Those details, they make all the difference.
It's like showing them you're not just building engines, you're living and breathing them.
Exactly. And hey, don't downplay those certifications. Let them know about those credentials.
Right. Certified engine whisperer.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. All right, next question. How do you ensure the accuracy of your work during the assembly process? Talk about pressure.
This one screams attention to detail. Think about your process. How do you make absolutely sure those measurements are spot on? What specialized tools do you rely on? How do you keep track of all those parts? It's all about showing them you're meticulous every step of the way.
It's like that part in the career guide on quality control. It's where you prove it's not just a buzzword, it's your mantra. And what's so cool is that RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze what you're saying and see if you're hitting those key words. Talk about a secret weapon.
It's like having a personal coach in your corner. It helps you fine-tune your answers so you're not sending out some generic application. It makes sure you're speaking their language.
Personalized career advisor.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Okay, next question. This one feels like a test. Can you describe a time when you encountered a problem during an aircraft engine assembly and how you resolved it?
They want to see you in action. How do you handle pressure when things go wrong? Choose a specific example, something that really put your skills to the test during assembly.
So instead of just saying, I'm a problem-solving master, I should walk them through it.
Exactly. Like I was working on this assembly and I noticed the technical drawing and the actual component, they weren't jiving. I immediately stopped, went back to the documentation and worked with the team to find a solution. We had to make sure the installation was perfect without compromising the entire engine.
Shows initiative, a commitment to quality, teamwork.
Yeah.
They're going to love that. It's not just about fixing it, it's about how you fix it. Makes me think about this one time.
Oh.
It's silly, really. Putting together some furniture, a far cry from an aircraft engine. But the instructions, they were a disaster. Ended up having to get creative, basically re-engineered the whole thing.
I can imagine. Funny how those everyday things, they can mirror what you need in these specialized fields, like with aircraft engine assembly. Which reminds me, our next question. How do you prioritize tasks when you're working on multiple engine assemblies at once?
That's where those organizational skills come in, huh? Can't be easy juggling multiple projects, especially in such a fast-paced world.
Exactly. When you're answering this, focus on how you stay organized. How do you manage your workload? Maybe there's a system you use, a color-coded spreadsheet, a trusty to-do list. They want to see you're on top of it all.
Like that core abilities section in the career guide. Here's your chance to prove you've got those skills down pat.
Right. You could even talk about how being organized helps you meet those deadlines, keep up with the industry's fast pace, shows you're thinking big picture.
Connect the dots between your style and their needs smart. Speaking of connecting dots, that's something RoleCatcher's AI does really well.
You said it. It's amazing. You can actually break down those job descriptions, pull out the key skills and experience they want, then look at your answers. It's all about making sure you're highlighting the right stuff.
It's like having a personal brand manager for your career. Okay, next up. How do you ensure compliance with safety regulations during assembly? We're talking aircraft engines here, so safety, non-negotiable.
100%. This is where you show them you don't just follow the rules, you live by them. And I'm not talking just saying, I follow the rules. Get specific. What OSHA guidelines are ingrained in your brain? Industry protocols. Show them you're not just aware, you're a safety champion.
So instead of just safety first, I could say, I'm super careful about my PPE, safety glasses, gloves, you name it, and my work area. Always clean, always free of hazards.
Exactly. You can even relate it back to the work environment, like working on aircraft engines. It has its risks, moving parts, sometimes hazardous materials, so I follow those safety protocols religiously. It's about my safety and everyone around me.
Responsibility, awareness, they'll eat that up. Okay, on to question 6. How do you handle unexpected changes or delays during assembly? Let's be real. In manufacturing, things happen, especially in a complex process like this.
Tell me about it. This one's all about adaptability. When the plan goes out the window, how do you roll with it? Do you communicate clearly with the team, reprioritize, show them you can handle those curveballs without compromising quality and safety?
So I could say delays, changes, they're part of the game in manufacturing. But I stay calm, I keep everyone in the loop, and I adjust my game plan as needed. How's that sound?
Perfect. Shows you're cool under pressure, a real problem solver. You know what would really drive it home? A real-life example. Maybe there was a time when a crucial part was delayed. How did you adapt and find a workaround to keep things moving?
Good point. Real examples, they stick with people. It's like that saying, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn.
Exactly. Makes those examples so much more powerful in an interview.
Okay, question number 7 feels like we're navigating a minefield now. Can you describe a time when you had to work with a difficult coworker or supervisor and how you handled the situation?
Tricky, because nobody wants to badmouth anyone.
You're right. Got to tread carefully here. They want to see your people skills. How do you stay professional even when things get tough? The key is to focus on what you did, how you made it work, not the negativity or the other person's behavior. So instead of, my coworker was a nightmare, I could say we had different work styles. So I'd made an effort to understand their perspective, communicated clearly and respectfully, and we found a way to work together.
Much better. You're showing them you're understanding, you're communicative, and you're all about solutions. Those are golden in any workplace, especially one like this where collaboration is key.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right? Okay, question 8. Can you describe a time when you had to work with a team to complete a complex engine assembly and how you contributed to the team's success? Sounds like teamwork is front and center here.
Absolutely. This is where you shine a light on those collaborative skills. Pick an example that shows you working effectively within a team, communicating clearly, and using your unique skills to reach that finish line together.
Instead of just, I'm a team player, I should have a specific project in mind where teamwork was essential.
You got it. Like, we were tasked with this new type of engine and the deadline was tight. I took the initiative to really learn the new components, the procedures, shared that knowledge with the team, and worked closely with the engineers, all about making sure we had a successful assembly on time and within budget.
Initiative, a willingness to learn, and teamwork. Those are the magic words for an aircraft engine assembler. Speaking of learning, on to question 9. How do you stay up to date with new technologies and techniques in aircraft engine assembly? Things are always changing in aviation. Got to stay ahead of the curve.
Couldn't agree more. Don't be afraid to toot your own horn here. What do you do to stay on top of your game? Do you hit up those industry conferences, devour aviation publications, online forums, training programs?
It's all about having your finger on the pulse, right? Yeah. Maybe I'm an active member of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, and I make it a point to attend their workshops and conferences. Got to stay updated on the latest engine tech. Plus, I subscribe to those industry publications, Aviation Week, Aerospace America, anything to keep learning.
Love it. You come across as proactive, engaged, passionate about the field. That's what they want to see.
Okay, and for our final question in this aircraft engine assembler interview extravaganza, how have you contributed to process improvement initiatives related to aircraft engine assembly? This one feels like it's all about problem solving, taking initiative, that engine whisperer magic.
You nailed it. They're looking for someone who doesn't just follow instructions, but actively thinks about making things better. Did you find a bottleneck in the assembly process and come up with a solution? Did you implement a new tool or technique that made things faster, more accurate? Time to brag a little.
So I could say, in a previous role, I noticed we kept hitting these delays in the inspection process. So I dug in, analyzed the workflow, figured out the root cause, and proposed a solution. We streamlined that process, cut down the inspection time by 15%.
Now that's impressive. It's those analytical skills, that problem-solving mindset, the initiative, that's what employers crave.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI feedback is so powerful. It can help you make those answers shine, making sure you're hitting all the right notes.
Exactly. Think of it as your personal editor. helping you craft these compelling narratives that showcase your skills and experience.
Wow, this has been incredibly helpful. We've dissected those interview questions, talked about RoleCatcher's AI. But before we move on, I want to circle back to career progression. The career guide made it sound like there were some exciting paths out there. Should we explore those next?
Let's do it, because the journey doesn't stop at the interview, it's just the beginning.
All right, so we've conquered those interview questions, but let's fast forward a bit to that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You nail the interview, got the job. What's next for an aircraft engine assembler? What kind of exciting career moves are we talking about?
That's where RoleCatcher's Career Guide comes in, like a roadmap. It shows you this isn't just a job, it's a whole career path with room to grow.
So let's say you've put in the work, you're a pro at assembling aircraft engines. What's next?
Well, one path is becoming a lead assembler. You're in charge of a whole team, making sure everything runs smoothly, the quality is top-notch. And with your experience, your knowledge of those engines, it's a natural step.
I can see that, yeah. You go from building these complex machines to guiding others. Engine whisperer to engine maestro, right? What other paths are there?
Specialization, that's a big one. You become the expert on a specific type of engine. Could be those powerful gas turbines, the ones on those huge aircraft, or maybe the piston engines, the ones on smaller planes.
Yeah.
That kind of focus, that deep knowledge, it's highly valuable in aviation.
So instead of being a jack of all engines, you're the master of one. That's impressive. Makes me think about all the advancements in turbofan technology, how they're getting more fuel efficient, quieter. It's amazing how much this field changes.
It really is. And that's why, like we talked about before, never stop learning. It's crucial in this career.
For sure. Okay, so we've got leadership, specialization, but there's more, right? What about aiming even higher?
You're thinking about management. As you gain experience, those doors open up. Production supervisor, quality assurance manager, even roles in research and development. It's all possible.
Wow. From building engines to shaping the future of engine technology, that's quite a journey.
Yeah.
And the career guide really stressed the importance of continuous learning. It's not just about getting the job, it's about always improving.
Right. And they had some great advice like networking. It's not just a buzzword, it's about connecting with other people in the industry. Going to conferences, joining organizations like the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers. It's all about building relationships and learning from the best.
It's who you know, right? Well, in this case, it's what you know, A&D, who you know.
Exactly. It all works together. Oh, and the career guide also mentioned something really interesting. Showcasing your work. Like an artist would have a portfolio, they suggest doing the same for your accomplishments.
So if you were part of building a really impressive engine, something complex or innovative, you should shout it from the rooftops, or at least have a portfolio to prove it.
Exactly. Show, don't just tell. I love that approach.
Me too. This is all so inspiring, so many opportunities in the world of aircraft engine assembly. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's loop back to RoleCatcher's AI feedback. Can you walk us through how it actually works?
Of course. So imagine you've poured your heart into those interview answers, you've detailed all your experience, but then that little voice pops up. Is this what they want to hear?
Oh, I know that voice well. It's the worst.
That's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in. You put in the job description, let's say it's for a senior aircraft engine assembler. Then you paste your answer to a question, maybe something like, tell us about your experience with aircraft engine assembly.
Okay, got it. My awesome answer. The job description, what happens next?
Here's where it gets really cool. The AI analyzes both. Like, it's comparing notes, it figures out what skills they're looking for, the exact words they use, even the tone they're going for. Then it compares all that to your answer, sees if you're on the right track.
Like a personal coach saying, hey, don't forget to mention that project where you totally knocked it out of the park.
Exactly. It makes sure you're highlighting the right things for that specific employer, that specific role. And it's not just about throwing in keywords randomly. RoleCatcher's AI looks deeper. It gives you feedback on how clear your answer is, if it's concise, if it'll really make an impact.
It's like having a writing coach and a career advisor, all in one. RoleCatcher's really stepping it up.
It's all about giving people the tools they need to succeed.
I'm impressed. Now, for those feeling a bit adventurous, the career guide also mentions some other career paths, right? Things that might be outside of aircraft engines, but still related.
That's a great point, and it's something we'll explore as we delve into the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've covered acing that aircraft engine assembler interview, and we've mapped out a potential career path, but what if we spread our wings a little? The career guide mentions some other paths, ones that use similar skills but maybe in different areas. What if someone's thinking, engines are cool, but I kind of want to work on the whole plane.
It's all about finding the right fit. And the guide does a great job of showing how the skills you build as an aircraft engine assembler, they can translate to other roles. It opens up a lot of doors in aviation and beyond.
So, like, if someone's thinking bigger picture, wanting to build the whole aircraft, is there a path for that?
Becoming an aircraft assembler, that would make sense. You already know how to read those technical drawings, you've got that precision down, and you understand quality control, all crucial for building an entire aircraft.
Going from the engine to the whole shebang. And what about those folks who are all about the mechanics, the intricate details? Any paths for them?
Oh, absolutely. A rotating equipment mechanic, that could be a great fit. Think about all the machinery out there with rotating parts. Pumps, turbines, compressors, they're everywhere. Power plants, factories, even amusement park rides.
Wait, so you're saying those engine assembly skills could come in handy for keeping roller coasters running smoothly? That's awesome.
Exactly. Transferable skills are key. And speaking of which, aircraft engine assemblers, they're problem solvers. They know how to improve things. Those skills are super valuable in industrial engineering.
So instead of just building the engines, you're designing how they're built, making the whole process better. That's incredible.
Exactly. You'd be using your knowledge to make things more efficient, less costly, really taking things to the next level.
This has been an amazing deep dive. We've gone from interview prep to career paths, all thanks to RoleCatcher. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts for our listeners?
Wherever you are in your career, remember, knowledge is power. Use the resources out there, career guides, AI tools like RoleCatcher. Connect with people in your field. There's a world of opportunities in aviation. Go get them.
Well said. A huge thank you to our expert for all the insights. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We'll be back next time with a whole new career path to explore. Until then, keep learning and stay curious.